Hey, good evening. And tonight, special night. Me and my illustrious co-host here on various shows. We have both decided to commit to something that's going to be the long haul. We're starting a YouTube channel, all sports YouTube channel. It's called Let's Talk 2Sports on YouTube. So if you need the YouTube subscription, we'll post it on our pages later. And we're just going to talk about all sports. We're going to sit here, watch the first half of the Cowboy game because we're both Cowboy fans. We're going to talk about the Cowboy game, but we're just going to talk all sports. I know that one of the things that Dwayne wanted to do was name, image, and licensing. I know he definitely wants to mention that and the
Yes.
pros and cons because most sports fans and a lot of people feel like, yes, about time. And thanks to Ed O'Bannon, first and foremost. But Dwayne has a different perspective. Not that is he doesn't want it, but he thinks that we need to be very, very careful going down this road,
Yes.
and understand that a lot of these people need to have lawyers first and foremost before they sign any contract. What's up, Wayne?
What's going on, man? I'm excited about this new venture. I'm thankful for this platform. I'm thankful for you. Um, hey, it's a big day, man. People could think it's just preseason, but football is back. So we're gonna have football back to February. So yeah, the timelines will be flooded on Let's Talk Two. Also on our personal things. I'm glad you brought up the NIL. Definitely want to take a moment when the time is right, if you allow me. I want to speak on the Simone Biles situation. I've remained very quiet about that because I wanted to get all the facts. And I think this latest update will have people feeling a little bad for about the way they attacked this situation from the beginning. But I'm excited. You know, we've been doing this since the playground, man. Central Six, when it was Central Six, it's Central Five now. But when it was Central Six, this what we've been doing. Bus
Yeah.
stops down there with Mr. Hayes playing basketball in the open gym. We talk sports. That's what we do. So I'm excited about it, man.
Well, I know we basically both are looking for certain things during this Cowboy game. Um, we had did our 53 and realized how hard it was.
Yes.
We actually were sitting down and tried to get a 53 and we thought it was easier. And then today when you did the salaries and realized some of the dead cap money,
Yeah.
it's not as easy as people may think. And we know a lot of bloggers. Shout out to all the bloggers that do the 53-man roster. It's not hard. But one thing I learned that with this coaching staff, we got to understand not to expect them to go outside of their particular player
Right.
because what happened, a lot of the pundits said, "Oh, they're not going to draft these certain players," and then Nashawn Wright gets drafted. You got a lot of these guys who do the draft, and they were surprised. And
Absolutely.
one of the things that I was blessed with is that having a partner like you, when we did our draft show, you're a big college football fan, so you knew
Love it.
exactly who he was. You knew his attributes. You were on it, and that's what we want to do. We don't know everything about every sport. It's a lot of information. Information is fluid, and just with the team that we root for in football alone, and understanding the league, that coaches are very particular with the players and attributes that they like at certain positions. It looks like the defensive coordinator Dallas Dan Quinn likes guys that are long arm linemen, guys that can block basically the pathway from the ball to the receiver.
Yes.
So I look forward to us talking about that during the game, and
And
also the Simone Biles thing. I don't I had an opinion about her which was interesting, but I had forgot, and excuse me for forgetting about the Larry Nasser aspect of her.
yes,
And
she's the last active gymnast that had to deal with that sexual harassment situation. So people forget that she was a part of that, man, and the things that she has overcome. But I think the biggest thing is when you lose somebody that's important to your life, it throws you off kilter, man. So it has now been announced that she lost her aunt during all this. Her aunt lost her life. So imagine you find out somebody that you love very dearly has passed on. You're in another country. Your family's not there with you. You can't be with your family at that time to mourn. And you're supposed to go out on the biggest stage when they made this Olympics about you prior to, and you're supposed to perform. And one of the things that bothers me to no end, and you heard a lot of it, you heard it from professionals, you heard it from people on YouTube, you heard it from people that I'll use the term water cooler, even though we ain't in the office. She's a professional. Oh, she has to toughen up. Oh, she let her country down. She let her teammates down. Let me tell you something. Her number one responsibility is to herself. Now, you could try to say that's selfish or whatever. Loss is hard. It's hard to cope with. It's hard. I don't care if you're the richest man in the world or the poorest man in the world. We all know loss. You know, I heard a preacher say one time, a young preacher too, about being on that front row. And if you haven't experienced it yet, I hope you don't experience it anytime soon. I've been on that front row twice. And if you don't
mhm.
know what I mean, it's that front row when you lose a family member, when you lose somebody that's near and dear to you, and you in that front row at church. That's not the row you want to be on anytime soon. So, boy, that white and silver and blue look good, don't it? Running out on the field right now. But yeah, back to Simone. She lost, man. And this twisties, it's a real thing. Listen to a lot of these gymnasts, both men and women. They talk about the twisties. Now, come on, man. They be running down for that vault. They be moving at top
And
maximum level
I put
speed.
the link in the chat in the comments to the YouTube channel. Like we asked that people like, share, and subscribe to the link
Yeah.
because the link is different from the Let's Talk channel. This is a Let's Talk to Sports, so it's a totally different YouTube channel.
Now we trying to make it pop,
We'll
y'all.
do a lot of stuff on YouTube, just impromptu stuff that just pop up. Because a lot of times, definitely during football season, we might not be able to do a show. So Dwayne would send a video and be like, "These are my picks for the week,"
Yeah.
and I'll just load them to the YouTube channel or whatever. So
And
yeah,
listen, Q, me and Q, iron sharpens iron. We got the left and the right hand connecting, and you know what? We're gonna have some sports minutes. Something big gonna pop up. We just gonna tape it, and it may show up later. But we promise you, it's only gonna be a minute. If we
yeah,
call
yeah,
this sports minute, it's gonna be a quick minute. We're
yeah.
gonna get you in. We're gonna get you out. So when we got our Instagram page, we'll put our sports minutes up on our Instagram page. We want to hear from you though. Tell us what you want to hear from us. What you like.
Also we're gonna try to do our football show. Our football show. I don't know if people realize it. These 4 weeks is gonna go by real quick before
Real
the
quick.
beginning of the season. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a football pre-show. It's gonna probably be about 5 or 6 people, and we just gonna talk football with our views of
Yeah,
the season. I'll probably ask Anthony Outlet. I know that he loves to do it, and Deshaun Creekmore. These are two guys that have been on the platform, and we love talking sports with
yeah,
those guys, and they really bring a lot to the table. And you want to just hear different people's opinions when we talk about sports because right now, to be perfectly honest with you, 32 different fan bases think that their team is going to win.
yeah.
And that's the excitement for people that like
That's the
football is
excitement. There's
the
nothing like
optimism,
football.
the seeing the young players, the growth of the young players. Now I know we get upset that players leave your team because of salary cap or they're just not as good as they used to be, but that's the business side of it. But
Yeah,
when you can sit and be able to watch a game and look at these Hall of Famers and like you feel old when you see guys like Edgar and James going to the Hall of Fame.
yeah, you do. Calvin
Like
Johnson, he got a
it's
little
like
bit of this. The
yeah,
greater
it's
out
like
of my bed, he
and
got a
then
little
these
bit of
then these
understanding.
guys that was big, these linemen, how they lost weight, like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
health reasons. Then I know Dwayne is real happy because Charles Woodson, Dwayne's a big Michigan Wolverine fan,
yeah,
and
Chuck. But let me say this, man. And I know, hey man, give us the hate. Call us homers when we talk about the Cowboys, but one thing we promise you, we're gonna be able to talk about everybody. But in this moment, I want to talk as a Cowboy fan. It was so great in this Fox pregame to see Jimmy and Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson, they're together
oh
on the.
Dwayne, I forgot to tell you, my son is watching, and he said Charles, he's a big Charles Woodson fan
That's
too.
right. I remember you told me
That's
that
his
he loved
favorite
Charles.
player.
That's right. That's right. So to see Jerry and Jimmy there together, and to know that Jimmy's officially going to be in the Cowboys Ring of Honor, it's a great thing. Um, I echo the sentiments of Troy Aikman when he said it's just good as Cowboy fans to see the two of you there together, and they got a long history together. And right, there's not a man, and I'm just going to say it, and you may think I'm crazy. There's not a man on this planet that don't have some type of ego
one of
and
one
don't
of the
have some
things,
type of pride.
Dwayne,
So
one of the things that you know me, I've always been one of the biggest um
you love him.
advocates of Jerry.
You
I
love him.
I think he's an awesome owner.
Yeah, you
He
love him. It
in
ain't
in
nothing
my
wrong with
eyes,
that.
I don't criticize him because I know that he loves the team to a fault sometimes and he makes mistakes.
Yeah,
But it's always amazing how even if a person sees the interview today, they will understand what Jimmy was saying. Jimmy knows that he made some mistakes. And when you own a team, you don't never want you can share the praise with people, but you don't never want people to make you feel like you were insignificant.
absolutely.
No need to rehash
No,
what was the
we
nail on the head, but it's gonna be most Cowboy fans the nostalgia as it they some people feel like it was the curse of the Cowboys that Jimmy put on them, but thanks to
could be.
Steven, they started speaking. These guys, what most people don't understand, these guys were college roommates.
They've known each other since their late teens, man. They've known each other since they was 18, 19 years old, man. Jerry Jones, I think, just turned 80 or somewhere around there. He close to it. Jimmy right behind him. So think about the years that they have with each other. And neither one of them would be wearing the gold jackets today if it wasn't for the other.
Straight
They
up.
needed each other. And let's be honest, as a Cowboy fan, when Jerry Jones first came on the scene, I hated him. You kidding me? You getting rid of the man in the hat, Tom Landry? And that's your first move as the owner is to get rid of the man in the hat? I was devastated. Then you traded Herschel Walker,
No,
and I was
but
like, I don't care how many picks it is. It's Herschel Walker.
before that, what
It's
was
the
unique?
greatest trade in the history of the NFL.
Not only did they trade Herschel Walker, but as Jimmy said, they traded before they even drafted Troy. They traded their quarterback Pelor.
Yeah,
They got a three that turned into a two. See, the thing about Jimmy Johnson in the history, and I know everybody talk about the great trade, is that Jimmy was a great recruiter for the University of Miami.
yes.
And if he didn't get you to the University of Miami, he had a book on all these players. This is why to this day a lot of people follow the draft board was designed by Jimmy Johnson.
Well, not the board, but the trading cards.
Yeah, yeah, with
Where
their
you
worth,
go, the
with their
value,
worth,
the worth on the trading
and what
card.
he was able to do to trade a two for a three, a two for a
The
three that
math.
turned into a two, and then
That's one of the
Jimmy,
people. People say, right? People say
what's up,
why?
Dre?
People say why is Jerry Jones in the Hall of Fame? Why is Jimmy Johnson about to be in the Hall of Fame? It's not just about the success on the football field. It's how they changed the game. Because you got to give both of these men credit for doing altering things to the game of football. All this money, all this TV contract stuff, it doesn't happen without Jerry Jones. Okay? And people can hate him. Listen, there's times I've hated him during this reign. But he's an innovator, man. Jimmy Johnson, he created the trading chart. Jimmy created that. And now every team follows it. So that's why. And it's just beautiful to see the sun setting on Canton, Ohio. And I've been there.
Hey,
It's
Dre,
an experience.
I want to ask you, Dre, because I know you in the chat. How you feel about Galladay? Did they say what was the injury was? I know they said he hurt his leg, and I know Dre for the last 10 years that I can remember on Facebook. Every year during this time, you'd be like, the Giants got the worst history in the world. They got the worst luck. They always losing players to injury. So I know Dre, when you seen that Galladay had got hurt during practice, I know you was fired up. You didn't make a lie of anything, so I know you was definitely pissed off. So Dwayne, one of the things that when you mentioned Jimmy and Jerry, speak about the thing that you had told me about Jerry with the NFL Network. Why the NFL Network was created.
One of the reasons the NFL Network was created, man, is because as you see with the Big Ten Network and the ACC Network and all, Jerry Jones was about to do a Dallas Cowboys network. And love him or hate him, I go through this with people. You don't have to be a Cowboy fan, okay? But you have to recognize that the Cowboys bring ratings. They do. The Cowboys could be 4-12, okay, and still get 6 games on national TV. Because NFL and these TV partners ain't stupid. Notre Dame
Dwayne,
ever Notre Dame
Dwayne,
has not.
give me
But
three. You
let me just finish this. Notre Dame has not won a national championship since 1988. But they are the only college team, okay, that every home game is exclusive to one network, NBC. It's Notre Dame. They haven't won a championship since 1988. So it's not always around about rings and championships. It's about eyes on the TV screen. Notre Dame, the New York Yankees, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Boston Celtics, the Dallas Cowboys, San Francisco 49ers. There are certain names that rings bells, and that's what it is.
and it's crazy
Hell, I
because
won a championship. Last
every,
time they won a championship, I was in my 20s. I'm
now
almost in
Dwayne,
my 50s.
the Cowboys is on defense. You got your guys you looking out for on the defensive end.
Just guard Chase Claypool, please.
I don't
Don't.
care about that. I don't care about Bossman Fat,
Well, let's see what
Nashawn.
we got here. Let's see what we got. Okay. Listen, you heard it here first. Najee Harris will be the NFL Rookie of the Year offensively for the Pittsburgh
Who's
Steelers.
going to be the NFL
The
Rookie of the Year
Steelers
defensively?
is still number 11. What are we talking about? Okay, I gotta get about
Oh
Jada here.
gosh.
What are we talking about
For the
here?
algorithm purposes, you guys, we can't turn the volume up on the games.
Hey,
So
what are you
because
talking
it has set
about?
the algorithm off on Facebook and YouTube.
Who gonna be the defensive rookie of the year? You already know. He
This
wearing that
defense better
number
be
11.
flying all over the field.
Listen, man. Just hit 22. Okay. So you got Carlos Watkins out there. Jalen Smith wearing that number 9. He look a little silky. Dorrance Armstrong is standing. Okay. You got Basham on the left side. And this defense still getting gashed. When we started with Kelvin Joseph, you got Kazee out there. Okay. Anthony Brown being Anthony Brown. So it's the usual suspects. But we got Dan Quinn running the show. Yeah, man. Steelers got off to a hot start last year, 11-0, and then finished 1-4.
I look forward to seeing Quentin Bohanna and Juice Hamilton. If they're both in the game at the same time, they should be able to stop
Okay,
the run.
so you
I know
got
that's the
You got
biggest thing the
Canu Neal
Cowboys should
out
worry
there.
about.
Canu Neal looking like he playing middle linebacker. Ball fake. That's a hole.
Dre, our defense should be. It should. We're trying to change the culture, Dre. That's all I want him to do is change
Okay,
the
Neville
culture and get.
Gallagher's out
If
there.
if he can get Dallas to
Listen, as long as we like
16,
16, I don't need to be in the top 10.
I'm
Just get
ahead of
out
you
the.
on plays too, Dwayne.
Okay, that ain't nothing new. This is what we do every week. Najee Harris, you heard it here first on Let's Talk 2 Sports. Offensive Rookie of the Year. You got the Offensive Rookie of the Year and the Defensive Rookie of the Year in this game right now. And I want to just say this, man, to all my black and yellow Pittsburgh Steelers fans, man, people better respect Mike Tomlin. This man's been in the game for a lot of years,
Not
and
one losing season.
he's never had a losing season, ever. It's about to be his 15th year coaching. You know, we got to start respecting him a little bit more. You know? But, yeah, so the Steelers, they got a kid that I love too, Chooks. That's that Western Michigan offensive tackle.
Wait till you see this next play.
It was good or bad for us? It's bad because the
No,
way
no,
we.
no, no, no. Yeah, he do look like Omar Epps, Dre.
Well, that ain't nothing new. That's Anthony Brown getting beat on the out route. We
No,
done
but
seen
no,
that.
no, no, no. I'm way ahead of you. The Michael Parsons play.
We done seen that show before. We done seen that story. I'm telling you, folks, if you ever get an opportunity, go to Canton, Ohio. If you're a football fan,
Oh no, you're ahead of me. You're right.
if you're a fan of the NFL, go to Canton, man. It will change your life. Now, I'm mad that my boy JD ain't playing tonight. Get that ball. Get the ball. I don't care that it's preseason. I want turnovers. Yes. Okay, Dan Quinn. Look at Randy Gregory with the bucket hat on. Yeah, I'm lit. It's been a good week, baby. Look at Michael Parsons, and you spoiled it for me because you knew he made a play. You're ahead of me. But
No,
it's
no, you're
okay.
ahead of me. You're ahead of
No,
me. No, no, no.
no.
The Michael Parsons thing was the run. I didn't know that was a turnover just now.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna calm down. But like I was saying, man, you got these franchises. Now you look again, man. Dallas Cowboys for the 15th year in a row, they're the biggest value team in NFL. You look at the 3-letter, 4-letter networks every day on all their debate shows. You know, every day they're gonna mention the Cowboys. It's not because we're great. No, it's because we're the most loved and the most hated team in the NFL at the same time. People get tired of hearing about the Yankees, about the Lakers. But I say this about the Lakers: the Lakers are the 36U team, the
Yeah,
AAU team.
what you think about that, Dwayne? Because we
I
starting
have to be.
our
I
sports
have
show.
to be. I
You
have
don't
to
want
be
LeBron to be
honest.
tweeting you.
I have to be honest, and I have to be fair, and that's what we're gonna give you. Okay. I am not as big of an NBA fan as I once used to be. When I was a kid, I loved it. I do not like the super teams. Okay? You got to understand. I grew up in an era where Larry Bird wanted to rip Magic's heart out. Okay? Moses Malone wanted to rip Robert Parrish's heart out. Okay? Dominique Wilkins with the Hawks. He carried the organization his whole life. Okay? These guys didn't say in the summertime, hey man, I really want to get a ring. Let's join forces, man.
Let's link
Come
up.
on,
Let's link
come
up.
on, Larry. Let's link up and win championships. Okay, I understand it's a new era. Things change. This is AAU style basketball, and I don't like it. I don't like it. Now I'm a Knicks fan, so people can say whatever they want to say. I haven't seen the Knicks championship since I've been on this darn planet because they won it. The last time they won it was a year before I was born. But so when it comes to basketball, I may not be the best expert for it. okay? Because I just don't watch it. I don't watch enough of it. College basketball? Ask me about college basketball. I got you. Okay, NBA? Okay, hold on. It's Garrett Gilbert. Listen, remember this name, folks. Blake Jarwin. Okay? All he does is catch the
I'm
football.
actually, he's not playing today, Dwayne, but
Oh, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I meant Dalton Schultz because Dalton Schultz was wearing 86. That's my fault. Thank you for the catch. We ain't perfect.
I didn't even see it catch yet neither.
We ain't
I'm
SAS,
gonna ask you a question about
but we
that. How
ain't
do you
perfect.
feel the tight end position is in Dallas this year?
I feel very comfortable about the tight end position. This young man needs to get the rock a little bit more too. Listen, I know we got Zeke, but TP needs it. He's a playmaker. Okay, so you know, do we want to keep on the game or do we want to get our talks about NIL?
Well, we could watch the game and continue talking about NIL. Um, I mean, I'm quite sure. Dre,
What is
what's your
yeah,
feeling about NIL,
yeah, I
Dre? And
want to hear what Dre got to say about
with
NIL.
Dwayne, I think the NIL.
Right there. Come on,
I
man. You
was
got to complete that.
I was disturbed to see the kid forego his senior year.
The high school kid.
Yeah, yeah. And then what made it worse is Ohio State came out the next day and said they're allowing these players to, when they brand themselves, to wear their jerseys and stuff and use their logos, because now you're dealing with colleges are basically going to use that as a recruiting tool. And the big colleges that got these big alumni. I mean, for example, if you're a kid, Dwayne, and you're a good quarterback,
Let me just use
most
that. I'm gonna use a perfect example for you because NIL, I can say his name without being worried about it. Bryce Young
yeah,
is a young
yeah.
man that's the quarterback for Alabama.
I'm gonna
Okay,
ask you a question. Now he's at Alabama. He's gonna get notoriety from being at Alabama. But what if Texas A&M come calling and them oil guys start offering him money? You can't compete.
here's the problem with NIL, and I'm all for these kids getting what they're gonna get, but we must be real. There's a lot of shady people in this world. So my advice to any athlete and their parents, before you sign anything, you better have a lawyer look at it. Because some of these people, okay, in the fine print, gonna have you locked up even when you go to the pros. You gotta be careful signing some of these deals because they gonna be think they're gonna be attached to you when you go to the league. So you need to make sure you have the proper representation
So let me
because
ask you. They said the one kid is the first person to ever from an HBCU. He got a chicken endorsement down where he's at, right?
I'm not trying
And
to laugh, but it's
I know I
kind
did
of
say
funny.
chicken, but he got an
It's
endorsement from
chicken.
a chicken shed. But I'm gonna ask you, Dwayne, it's not the major companies that I have an issue with. I'm talking about the local guy, the trading card guy, who may try to get these guys and be like, sign this deal, and then next thing you know, they up in U.S. court somewhere with a civil suit talking about you done signed something and you weren't professional and you didn't. It's a breach of contract. That's the biggest issue that I have with what's going on. And is amateurism over, Dwayne?
Amateurism been over. Let's be real about it. There's been side deals and kid, you had 2 touchdowns today. You did good. Here's $200. That's coming from the booster, and it's in the card. It's see no evil, hear no evil. You understand what I'm saying? So it's been going on for a long time. And again, I don't have a problem with these kids making money off their likeness because guess what? Back in the day, the perfect example of it is the Fab Five. Well, we'll even bigger than the Fab Five. I'll give you three teams, two different decades. All right. the 80s, Big John Thompson and the Georgetown Hoyas. Every hood in America, you saw that blue satin Georgetown jacket with Georgetown across the chest in gray. Nike had the blue and gray high tops all over the hood. Okay? Then the UNLV running Rebels. Tupac was wearing it in his video, the hat, stuff like that. But the team that really blew up all across the land was the Fab Five of Michigan. Baggy shorts, black socks. Okay? Chris Webber tells a story, a good book for you all, Fab Five. If you ever want to read a nice book, sports book, I highly recommend the Fab Five. Okay? And excuse me. In that book, Chris Webber talks about being hungry. Okay? Going in his pocket, and all he had was like $1.50. He looks across the courtyard to the school store, and there's a number 4 Michigan jersey selling for $50.
Hmm. Hmm.
Well, who was number 4 on the University of Michigan? It was Chris Webber. Now, I love Michigan. There's a deal with some of these Michigan football players, and I don't think they read the fine print, and this is not being reported widely enough. Your jersey, if it's sold and it's your number, the MDN still gets a cut of that profit. Now, if you don't know what the MDN is, that's the official university store. So guess what, kids? You're getting some money, but the university's still getting a cut off you. Read the fine print. Get you a lawyer. So that stuff like that don't happen to you. Now, they ain't reporting that. Okay, that's just, I'm on it. I'm on it. I love this football thing.
I'm
High
gonna ask you a
school,
question, and I
love
know,
it.
and I know I never really looked at the fine print of the NIL. So what if you're a top recruit? A top guy at a university, and you have a problem with the university making money off of your image, even though you're making money, and you want to sever ties and be like, "Look, I don't want my jersey sold." Period.
Could do it. Could do it. Because you know why? I hate to say this in America. There's going to be about 10 of them that's going to be like, no, sell mine.
Yeah.
Forget about him. Sell mine. So it's going to come down to personal choice. I just want these kids to be safe.
So Dwayne, let me ask you: are they going to have to keep records of the jerseys sold now?
Listen, you
Because
opened
then,
up.
if you're an alumni, if you're the player, and you're on your campus, and you see thousands of your jersey being sold, and they talking about we only sold 1,500, and you like, nah, that's impossible.
We've opened up Pandora's box. That's why I will say it again. And this will be the last time I say it tonight. Get yourself some representation, young men and women. Don't go in there signing deals and not reading between the lines. Some of y'all signing deals for apparel and to wear shields and all that, and you don't even want to wear them. So what you signing the deal for?
I wanted to ask you something else too.
Yes, sir.
And it has to do with baseball, which is
Okay.
interesting because a lot of people don't know that we are big baseball fans. Or we played little league.
Yeah.
They shout out to Mr. Horton
Horton.
for all that he did
And Mike,
with
I forget Mike's
with
last name. What was Mike's
Mike
last name?
Jones. Mike
Mike
Jones.
Jones.
With having a little league and giving the kids a place
Oh,
to play.
and Clarence Morris Sr., because my uncle was out there before Mike was.
Yeah.
He was the Pirates manager before Mike.
And one thing I wanted to ask you, right? We talked about baseball not marketing to African Americans, and whether it was the insurance. It's hard to get 9 kids to play baseball. But I was thinking about a Tanya, right? And I was saying to myself, here it is. He's probably the best player in baseball right now. On the on his team is probably the best baseball player in the last 5 6 years. And for those that don't know, for those that don't know anything about baseball or know a little bit, if you look at what Mike Trout has done since he's been in the league, nobody's compared with him. He
Yeah.
literally has finished first, second, and third in MVP voting every year. So I say that with that brand, having those two players on that team, why the Angels are not a team to be reckoned with, Dwayne? Like, what is?
Well, the hardest part for the Angels and for their players to pop is because it's the East Coast West Coast bias. Their games are on 10:30 on the East Coast. Nobody's watching them except for highlights. Only time the East Coast get to see them jokers live really is when they're playing road games on the East Coast. Baseball, listen, I don't want to have you guys think every time we discuss something, it's along race lines. But when it makes sense to discuss it, we will. We're not afraid of talking that, okay? The number one consumer of anything in this world, and you can look it up, is African Americans. The black dollar runs a lot of things. Well, when you look at baseball, the number and the amount of African Americans that's in the game is worse than it was in the 70s,
Mm.
in the 80s. We're just not playing the game. Now, if you ask my opinion as to why that is, it's boring. Most people ain't gonna sit down there and watch a 9 inning baseball game. I'ma do it because I love baseball. I got love baseball from my pops. But most people are not gonna sit there and watch a 9 inning baseball game. They're just not gonna do it. It doesn't play well on TV. You know, they're stepping out of the box, grabbing their junk, adjusting their gloves. By the time they doing all that and one at bat, a football game that had 3 first downs already. Basketball, they've been up and down the court 4 and 5 times already. You'll have a half inning of baseball because there's no time limit on it. You can have a half inning of baseball, take 30 minutes to play. It's slow. So you got the slowness, and we live in an instant world now, and you don't have enough marquee African American players for it to pop in those communities. Baseball is no longer America's pastime, folks. America's pastime now is football, man. Football is king. Come on, man. In the off season, the lettered networks, when they talk sports, even in the off season, it's football.
What is the three things about the letter networks they talk about? Tom Brady, LeBron James, and Dallas
Tom
Cowboys.
Brady, LeBron James, and Dallas Cowboys. It's like back in the day when, we're both big Mike and the Mad Dog fans, right? And they will tell you, Mike Francesa and Chris Russo will tell you, whenever they had a slow day and nothing was happening, they bring up Pete Rose. And it would last that whole 6 hour show. So they know what to bring up. They know what to do. These guys are professionals, man. I love baseball. I love being at the baseball park. I'm a New York Met fan. They're killing me right now. We only get a half game lead. We done blew a 4.5 game lead already. Woo!
You were ahead of me, so I don't know what happened. Did he meet him in the hole?
First of all, he dropped the pass and then got blasted. Get him out. Get him out.
Oh,
He's a starter. Get him out. Get Chase
that's
Claypool out of there.
that's Thompson. Thompson
Yeah,
need to do something.
Thompson.
He's on our list.
Yes, he is. And look
He's
at
on
the
our
numbers.
list. To one.
Now, listen. This is very interesting, everyone. And if you're on the chat, if anybody's watching with us, let us know how you feel. We're going to figure out a way to put poll questions up, too, sometimes when we do this show. What do we feel about the single digits in
Yeah, you
football?
know it's funny. I'm sitting here watching the game, and they do look the linebackers do look smaller, definitely on Dallas with number 11 and number 9.
You
Um,
just had a punt returner win number 6.
yeah,
Like,
it's definitely a difference. You got to get used to it.
I like it. I can tell you as a youth football administrator, former administrator and coach, we knew every year that the first numbers that was going to go with these kids was the single digit numbers. Um, Shout out to Union High School.
Why is that, Dwayne? They just like the single digits.
They love them. Shout out to Union High School, where when you become a senior or you're a big time junior, you get that single digit. Now the big number is 0. Everybody want to wear 0 now. It's them single digits, man. Hey, man, I remember as a kid, man, Deion Sanders wearing that number 2
The
at
big
Florida
number
State.
the big number that when we was kids, I must admit, man, was that 32 and 33. And if you were a Cowboy guy, you wore 33. If you were
He
not a
did.
Cowboy guy, everybody loved Franco Harris.
Franco Harris, Jim Brown, Marcus Allen, O.J. Simpson. Yes, I said the Juice's name. He's one of the greatest football players of all time. He just
Sweetness.
wore 32. Sweetness was 34, but
Yeah.
that 32 rings bells.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the Morrises wore that 32 number 2 for a little tidbit to the people of us home. But yeah, that single digits. It's very interesting. I don't think people know this, but let's use Jalen Smith as an example of the Dallas Cowboys. He wore number 54 his whole year, his whole career, and he wanted to change to 9 because as a kid he wore 9, in college he wore 9, high school, the whole thing. He had to buy up any inventory out there. I don't care if it was on NFL Shop, JC Penney's, wherever it is. Any 54 jerseys that were still available for sale, he had to buy all those jerseys before he could change to number 9.
That's interesting. They did that. That's
Now
interesting. I mean, the
next
machine
year,
is
next year you don't have to worry about that. But if you change your number this year, you have to buy up your inventory.
amazing that they did that. We always talk about the NFL and how they just continuously
Quentin
do what
Ford,
they.
can we share some insight with our people?
Yeah.
What is the number one theme or term you hear from the little guy during a football game?
Get rid of it.
And I just was going to yell at it, Garrett Gilbert. Get rid of it.
Get rid
Thank
of it.
God, because Quentin looked at me. He got a little nervous during the game last year, folks. Folks, I am glad for my own well-being that Alex Smith has retired from the game of football. Because I was watching the game with Quentin last year, and I said, bro, I can't do it. I can't watch this game. I'm just worried for the well-being of Alex Smith.
Yeah. Usually we have really we're gonna talk to you guys about the genesis of starting this show. The genesis of starting the show is that during on NFL day, if I wasn't around, if I was home and Dwayne was home, we wasn't out. We would literally sit on the phone and talk during the games. So we decided to, in conjunction with what Let's Talk is doing, we decided to just start doing this a live show during the game, or then we do our pregame and then our postgame talk. Which we're going to continue this year coming up, and then 1 or 2 games during the year, the Cowboy game, 1 or 2 games during the year, we're just going to do a show during the game, which is very interesting. You guys, to see our reactions to some of the stuff. Usually, I'm a play ahead of Dwayne, and he's hung up on me before
Yeah,
because sometimes you just can't control yourself with
can't
what you
control you.
see. Um, like right now, he's ahead of me, so
I'm
he
sorry.
sees the play ahead of me, and you know,
I'm seeing it again. It's funny, right? Because I'm seeing Cedric Wilson of the Cowboys. and he's a wide receiver wearing number 1. So it's like, who's this cat wearing what out here catching passes? So I like it. And then go Omar Epps, a.k.a. Mike Tomlin, just staring out right now. But hey, man, Garrett Gilbert, I know it's preseason, but he looks like he wants to take control of that backup quarterback spot with the Cowboys. One thing I always give the Steelers credit for, and I'm not a Steeler fan at all, they always swarm on defense, man. Oh, wait a second, Quentin Ford. Is this Connor Williams playing center with this second
Yeah,
unit?
yeah,
Very interesting.
yeah.
Our starting
And
guard.
Connor is one of the guys I earmarked for this year because this could possibly be a year where we might not even be able to retain Connor. Because as of
I
right now, the
agree.
Cowboys might be
Oh,
$22 million over the cap for
that's a
next
nice
year.
snap. It's a nice snap right there. Under the radar pickup for the Dallas Cowboys will be Jeremy Sprinkle, big tight end. He'll block
But I'm gonna ask you, Dwayne,
every
with
once in a
that,
while. He'll catch.
do you see the Cowboys keeping 4 tight ends? Because I know you want your Michigan boy.
I want Sean McKeon to make this squad. I just don't think there's a place for him. I think he's going to get cut, and that makes me sad. I love my Michigan boys. You know, I'm let's get rid of it. And just as we speak about him, who makes a play? The Michigan boy. He just made a play. Nice catch. He broke the tackle. He picked up the first down.
Mm.
So, yeah, man. Anything else we want to talk about? I mean, we almost got the first quarter over, and we're coming up on 50
No,
minutes.
that's it. Just basically, it was
Oh,
certain
Q, I
players.
wanted you because we didn't really get to touch on it. You didn't really tell me what you thought about the whole Simone Biles thing.
I was more worried about if the girl said she needed a break. We all need to just respect it, whether it's mental illness, whether she woke up and had a stomach issue. Sometimes people just need a break from every day what they do every day. She's been doing this stuff since she's been a kid.
Mm-hmm.
She's a young lady, and we just need to respect and not question people's decisions so much.
Well,
We require, and me and you've talked about this 1,000 times. And I know that what I'm about to say, I'm not saying it to say that they are just athletes, but we have to expect our athletes to just be athletes. We put too much expectations on athletes to be our community speaker, the voice of reason, the one who speaks about our moral compass. I mean, today I saw on Instagram trending because LeBron James said that Jadakiss was the most underrated rapper in history, and I'm like, okay, what is he talking about underrated? We in the area of Jadakiss, we never underrated him, but because LeBron James, who has 1 million followers on Instagram, said it, it trends. So I say that to say that with Simone Biles, we need to respect boundaries. One
well,
of the issues that I brought up is what me and you talked about was just sometimes in sports, optics is key.
yeah, and
And
and I'm glad you talked on that because I want to be transparent and I want to. What Quentin says is so key and vital, and sometimes you got to be able to shine the light on yourself. The first thing I said to Quentin when I heard about the Simone Biles thing, and it was wrong on my part in hindsight, was she better not compete in the individuals because if she don't compete in this team and then she do individuals and she wins a gold medal, they're gonna come down on her. And that shouldn't have been my first thought. And again, being transparent, I was happy that she didn't compete in her key individual events. Now, don't get it twisted. She won a bronze medal in the beam. She won a bronze medal in the beam in Rio, too. The balance beam is her worst event, individual event. So I'm glad she got out there and she did compete in one situation. But You had grown men and women going on these platforms, going on their shows, the Megan Kellys of the world, the Clay Travises of the world, who I don't know if they're envious of these athletes and what these athletes have accomplished, but we also know, man, when you put yourself in the public eye, if you're a politician, if you're an athlete, if you're a musician, any type of artist, you bring yourself up to ridicule. Your family is put under the microscope as well. It's not right, in my opinion, but I do think we hold these individuals to a greater standard than we hold ourselves. And I
Mm.
think we must realize that it's still human, right? Like, we'll laugh, right? And I'll say this darn Rico Dowdle. Liking the way he's looking in that Herschel Walker jersey. Um, we'll say this, right? Me and Quentin Ford will lament a Dallas Cowboy loss realistically for a day, sometimes 2 days. You know what those football players is doing? Once they take their showers and put their clothes on, what bar we going to? What club we going to? So we're fans, which is short for fanatics, which means we don't reason well. And we think we got something to do with this stuff, but I'm here to tell you. This is a term that you guys may hear often. The George Morris Sr. rule. It's all fixed, folks. My daddy told me that a long time ago. Vegas, why is Vegas always on the numbers, people? You ever think about that? Vegas is always on the number. But,
Mm.
you know, one of the sports that me and Quentin used to love as a kid as well was the sweet science of boxing. But now what has happened with boxing for the last 20 years, maybe more, you just don't see the fights you want to see. Before there was nothing like a big time heavyweight fight, or even if it was middleweights, just was nothing like a big time fight. But now, come on, man. Bud Crawford and Earl Spence Jr., we should have been seeing that fight 3 years ago. Why we can't get the fights that we want to see?
Mm.
Earl Spence Jr. about to fight Manny Pacquiao. I'm sorry, I don't want to see that. I want to see Bud Crawford. Okay? One of my favorite boxers of all time, was Andre Ward. Never fought anybody. Never fought anybody. We never saw Andre Ward in those big fights that we wanted to see. How do we change it, Q? Can we change it?
No, no. It's the one of the biggest issues definitely with boxing is there's so much money involved. It's not even about the health of the boxer. It's just basically the money. If you they're trying to milk the consumer so much because you'll say, okay, I'm gonna fight for free on Fox, and then here come NBC who want to get back in the game, and they'll say no. We'll make it a ten fight deal with you. We'll give you just say $20 million to an amateur to a small boxer. That's a lot of money. And
Yeah.
then you got the pay per views. Like you got so many, and then the promoters who will say we'll do all your promotion for 20 fights. We'll give you some money up front. So a lot of times these boxers, they be broke. They don't do nothing but box and train. And then when they finally get a chance to get in these fights, they have this is their opportunity to fight.
Shout out to our boy Craig, because his boy Terrence Open Door Still is in midseason form right now. He's just
But let
leaving
me ask you a question:
leaving the
Is
back
that Blaine
end.
Gilbert's is that Blaine Gilbert's fault for thinking that he could hold the ball forever?
Yeah, it's his fault. And then we missed a field goal. Thank God it's preseason, because that's terrible the way that sequence ended. But yeah, he got to get rid of it. You got to have that internal clock that tells you it's time to get rid of the football. All right, let me ask you a question, because we see the great Hall of Fame quarterback Peyton Manning going in. So you have ABC, ESPN, and they got Monday Night Football.
Oh, yeah.
And they got Steve Levy, Brian Greasy, and Lou Riddick. Why on God's green earth would they come up with the Manning Gamecast?
Because
Where it's either going to be Peyton or Eli. No
sometimes
one's going to watch.
sometimes these organizations, what they do is they ESPN is so used to saturating the market and taking up the market that they don't realize sometimes they undercut their own programming.
Yes.
And you see it a lot, even with their Big Ten networks, and they're behind all these college networks. They'll do things that will be like, why they didn't do it. You see, the other day they had the NBA draft on ABC.
They doubling up everything. Now, whatever's on ESPN is on ABC, and it's not the same telecast. It's a whole
Yeah,
different crews.
yeah.
Um, you know, and Maria Taylor, what do we feel about that situation?
I think the Maria Taylor thing was interesting. I don't think I think she overplayed her hand. I think she would have waited. She'd have got more money. But what ESPN does is they, when you get hired by them, if you're talented, they ask you to do a lot of things. And a lot of us, what we'll do at any job is you be so hungry to work that you're willing to do anything for the check. But, for lack of better words, you work hard for your check. And then you realize, like, yo, I'm overworked. Now you want now you want these companies to renew your contract. And then, she was asking for money that basically they couldn't prove that she pushed the needle like Stephen A. Smith. And I'm just using it because
Just
she
using
used it
it.
as
Yeah,
negotiation.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not trying to put a woman against a man and a black woman against a black man, but
No, that's what she used.
she
It was
used it
fair
for
game.
negotiation purposes. And her going to NBC, and you got all these people on Twitter talking about it's a victory. It's not a victory for her to be on NBC.
Your boy Quentin
Ooh,
Bohannon.
oh yeah, yeah. It's just stuff to run, Big Q. But me and Dwayne gonna close the show.
Yeah, we're gonna close it out, and we just thank y'all. But again, like, share, subscribe, and please, man, let's make this like the barbershop, man. Comment. Tell us why we're wrong. Tell us we're crazy. I gotta listen to Zeke. But we thank y'all for listening to the first hour of Let's Talk 2 Sports. We're really excited about it. We're gonna grow this platform, and we're only gonna be as good as you are, the people that listen to us, and please collaborate with us. And hey, if you want to come on and talk with us one week, let us know. We'll pop you up. We love sharing thoughts on this stuff. You know,
with that, until next time, like, share, and subscribe.
Mark Allen on the beat.